Hi everyone, thanks for coming for the last presentation today. Hopefully you will enjoy it. Today we're going to talk about strain-specific medicine, about strains, about cannabinoids, how terpenes multiply the effect of the cannabinoids, how terpenes modulate the cannabinoids, how strains elevate your emotion, how strains affect certain conditions in your body, and why we have to maintain the natural way in maintaining those strains and obtaining real medicine from those strains. They're probably going to be a minute until the presentation comes up. My name is Stantchev. I'm the CEO of PURE5 Extraction. We've been in business for cannabis for 10 years and in business for extracting flavors and fragrances for 25 years. We're based in Bulgaria with offices in the United States and been in US cannabis industry since the very beginning, 2014. There have been a lot that we've learned over the years, and there have been many things that are going to come in the next few years into the cannabis industry, especially when the legalization goes really worldwide. After the United States, after Germany, we see that movement in South America, Africa, and Australia. So we've been working with all the continents and trying to embrace the natural way of extracting and growing this plant, embracing the values of this plant. As we know, this plant's been the forbidden plant for hundreds of years now, and literally from 1918 till 2018, it's been prohibited even the talk and use of this cannabis. Now, after 100 years of prohibition, we have opened the doors for bringing the values to everyone. I have to have some slides very soon here. It seems to be a slight technical problem, but anyway, let's start step by step. This plant, the values of this plant is not only in the cannabinoids. Usually what is medicinal into a plant are alkaloids. Alkaloids are very popular in the pharma and medicine for bringing natural values to the human being. The alkaloid, the cannabinoids are alkaloids with a terpene tail, which makes them oleoresins. When it is moved all the way to the oleoresins, the behavior and bioavailability is different. That's why we need to learn all these components one by one and bringing those values to the public. So the active compounds in this plant are really the terpenes and the cannabinoids, and that's what we're going to talk about. So, what we've seen the latest years is there have been natural cannabinoids in the market and synthetic cannabinoids in the market. The natural cannabinoids, they really derive out of the plant. Initially, all this became known by enthusiasts in the cannabis industry that started using this plant in different forms. The first extracted oil that got very popular and with its medicinal values is under Rick Simpson extraction method, using a rice cooker and ethanol for extracting very dark crude that really helped him to get away from his conditions. Later, this extraction, this processing evolved into making distillates and making hash and diamonds with different methods. in one way or another, each extraction method gives different variability to the person. In the recent years, in the look for the best extract, people started using bubble hash. Bubble hash is a method that they use hash water, like cold water extraction, to break down the trichomes and extract them. This brings full terpene profile and cannabinoid profile together. And this so far is the best way to bring a full natural profile to the medicinal, to the public. We're getting closer to it. So I really need my slides to get to some details on what we're going to talk today. Okay. The industry is going to split in two different directions very soon. One direction is going to be the pure pharma, and the other direction is going to be the natural, medicinal, the one that you guys embrace in this industry. The pharma is going to be formulating each drug with milligrams of each minor cannabinoid, and everything, and more likely is going to be synthetic. Okay, let's start. Here you go. The natural cannabinoids are chemical compounds found in the cannabis plant. So these compounds interact with the human body, endocannabinoid system, and regulates various psychological and cognitive processes. Of course, we know that, and that's been around for hundreds and hundreds of years. But now, more and more, we hear about synthetic cannabinoids. We know the main cannabinoids that are into the plant are mainly THC, CBN, CBD, CBC, CBG, THCV. So what are the synthetic cannabinoids? According to chemistry, you can synthesize pretty much any of these cannabinoids except CBG, which is the precursor of everything else, of every other cannabinoid. Synthetic cannabinoids are artificial compounds designed to mimic the effects of natural cannabinoids found in the cannabis plant. They are typically created in laboratories research to produce drugs targeting the endocannabinoid system. These drugs are often called design drugs because they're chemically engineered to produce specific effects. So why I'm saying this? Because more and more out there, you're going to see synthetic cannabinoids. Their effects are different. And even we experienced that in the last couple of days of this show. So this is how the cannabinoid on the left, natural cannabinoid looks like. You have the head, you have the body, and you have the tail. This is the terpene tail, and this is the alkaloid part, which is the real medicinal part. This is synthetic cannabinoid. It doesn't even look like the natural cannabinoid. Usually how to synthesize that is by connecting a head to a body. You're missing the tail. But when you're missing the tail, this cannabinoid is not even an oil. More likely, it's in powder form. When you use synthetic cannabinoids, you have at least 8 confirmed side effects. And this is something that everybody should know. Because naturality is true. The plants, they have consciousness. This consciousness builds this molecule every single time the same way. And it's natural, and it's medicinal, and it doesn't really have side effects. The side effects that everybody knows, the dry mouth and the red eyes, that's minimal to what we're going to see here. Rapid heart rate, kidney damage, nausea and vomiting, severe anxiety, psychosis, elevated blood pressure, seizures, and respiratory problems. What else? Terpenes. Very openly we talk about cannabinoids, how many percentage this, how many percentage that, but we forget about terpenes. What we need to know about terpenes when we talk about this plant. There are two main terpenes, monoterpes and sesquiterpes. Monoterpes, they have 10 carbons and 16 hydrogen atoms. The sesquiterpes, they have 15 carbons and 24 hydrogen atoms. And you really can count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 10. There are 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I pointed those all over. So all 10 carbons in the left, and the usual terpenes here are alpha-pinene, beta-pinene, limonene, myrcene, terpenoid. So these are very known when you look at your terpene profile on the COA. The sesquiterpes, they are again 15 carbon atoms. You can also count them here. Every corner is a carbon atom. So humulene, bisabolene, caryophyllene, and caryophyllene is one of the major terpenes that you see into the cannabis. Why? We're going to talk about later. There is one more group that we don't even show here because the lab doesn't even test for it. They're called isoprenes. And the isoprenes are the finest, smallest compound molecules that there are actually 5 carbons. And isoprenes are the base of all these terpenes. And actually they bring the finest aroma and finest trills into the terpene profile of cannabis. Okay, how this is interesting, very interesting. I put this slide very latest in the whole presentation because I read this paper recently. This is a paper from Ethan Russo that shows one simple thing. Over here we have 3 cannabinoid profiles. Pure, CBD, CBD THC 1:1, and THC dominant. Over here you have 1, 2, 3 terpene profiles. They're exactly the same. With pinene, dominant, and you have other cannabinoids which repeat, other terpenes that repeat each other in each profile. Although the medicinal effect, even the cannabinoids are different. CBD, CBD THC, and THC. Over here we see it helps for focus. All these 3 strains, they help for focus. Over here is their COA, literally. It shows that this one has 16% cannabinoids, 2.8% terpenes. And this one is 16 cannabinoids, 2.7% terpenes. These are flowers. Flowers grown with the same terpene profile and different cannabinoid profile. And they have the same effect. So what? What is more important, cannabinoids or terpenes for your mood, emotion, and focus? Of course, the terps. Terps are really the hormones of the plant. They subconsciously prepare us for what is going to come from the full profile of the cannabis. They really bring us to state. They work their own way to get us to accept the cannabinoids by itself. So based on this, I put together a simple presentation with help of Evelyn for different strains. So strains for energy and creativity. Usually sativa strains, of course. Sativa strains put you to energy. So Jack Herer is one of the most popular. Even now there are a lot of breeds based on Jack Herer. This one, it's still the one that is based for comparing between the sativa strains. The dominant terpenes over here is caryophyllene, myrcene, terpenoid, and also mint. So this terpene profile literally puts you in state. And what it is, it's just gonna provide a clear-headed high that may enhance creativity and productivity without really smashing down. Terpene poison is another profile, very similar terpene profile. Originates from South Africa, and it's very known for uplifting euphoric effects. Strain for relaxation. Well, of course, this should be the indica one. Purple Kush is an indica strain, prized for its deep relaxing and sedating effects. So, these strains, Purple Kush and Papa Kush, are known as indica strains, and myrcene is the dominant here. Pinene is the next, humulene and limonene, which bring all these flavors into the profile. Again, in this case, cannabinoid doesn't really even matter. It's the terpene profile that modulates your behavior. That's why maintaining the terpene profile in your strains is very important. And studying what strain you're really going to use for a medicine is essential. Strains for euphoric high and happiness. Terpene profile is terpinolene first, caryophyllene, pinene, limonene. Lye cake, ice cream cake. It has a pleasant and relaxing full body high, and it's noted for sweet floral, citrus, and earthy flavor and profile. Of course, citrus, pine, and pepper. Pineapple Express is another strain that really voted for very good happiness, and having, of course, cannabis is one of the drugs that really triggers reception of happiness. That's why it's so popular into the community. Strains for sex and arousal. So OG Kush, sour diesel. Myrcene is high, caryophyllene, limonene, and pinene. This profile keeps you going. Strain for anxiety. So here are certain conditions, and of course the terpene profile is essential here. You have the myrcene, caryophyllene, limonene, and terpinolene in similar proportions. Sour space candy, sweet and sour widow. These strains really help you with anxiety. Strains for PTSD. White lotus, sweet sour widow. Again, myrcene, caryophyllene, limonene, terpinolene in these proportions, it gives you the right profile for that. Strains for ADD and ADHD. So, Harlitsu, Blackjack, usually high CBD strains in this case, with terpene profile of myrcene at 50%, caryophyllene, limonene, and terpinolene. Okay, how we maintain the high terpene profile? How do we really preserve and enhance the natural base? So, these are the growth challenges that anyone growing is going to face. Quality control and safety. Consistent quality and potency of cannabis product is challenging due to variations in cultivation practices and strains, of course. Pest and disease management. Insect diseases. This, like fungal infections such as powdery mildew and root rot can devastate crops and if not properly managed. Nutrient deficiency and toxins. So imbalanced nutrition, cell health, that can all influence the plant growth. Watering issues, overwatering, underwatering, water quality, poor water quality, including high level of chlorine and other contamination, can negatively affect plant health. Environmental control, temperature, humidity, light. Cannabis plants need specific light cycles, vegetative and flowering stages. Technological interaction, automation, data management, very important to collect data, learn from that data, improve that data. Full air drum, like what can help this? Of course, now with enhancement of AI, you can literally manage your growth from remote and collect data. Every minute you can monitor your nutrition, you can monitor your soil pH and electrical conductivity, and you can, after one growth cycle, you can adjust the next growth cycle and achieve better and better results every time. It's good for medicinal plants, for eatable magic mushrooms, for gourmet plants. It really works as a charm, knowing your nutrition and feeding them properly. Automated fill and dose system can really monitor your plant grow every minute and adjust to the milligram the nutrients in your watering system. Automated growth cycles don't really need a grower anymore on a large scale. The grower is needed to tune this algorithm and monitor and improve every time and pick its main nutrients. Again, this system is fully automatic that monitors the electrical conductivity, pH, maintenance, and doses in every plant. Further, growing in a controlled environment is essential. Starting with container grows that are fully automated, you can grow in there 20 to 150 plants, depends on the spacing, and implement one of these AI systems with operation room, grow room, and power room where you control the climate. You can stack containers, you can make a grow on the top and a shop on the bottom, or the club on the bottom. There are a lot of creativity in this. When we go to extraction, so I've been working with plants since I've been a teenager, and I like the effects of the plants, and I figured that if you collect the plants and just make a tea or use the plant directly, it's going to take years to get to certain conditions, unless you concentrate. You concentrate the actives, and you're going to get the effects within days, within weeks. And this is what we achieve with extraction. So for cannabis, we have different extraction methods, different solvents, supercritical, ethanol, butane, propane. We have also solventless, hash, and water hash. Therapeutic cannabinoid profile preservation. This is something that we need to be very careful when we talk about how do we pull all the active compounds from the plant. Many cannabinoids and terpenes are sensitive to heat and degrade very quickly and oxidize very quickly. Extraction efficiencies, they vary from 30% in the water hash to 97% in the solvent extraction, and all over in between. Extraction safety. Of course, we have to take care of occupational safety, risk, and mostly with all the solvent-based extraction because some of them are flammable and explosive. Extraction variability. Of course, if there are two parameters in extraction: time, temperature, and pressure. And if you don't really watch for those, you may have different results at the end. Extraction and data collection. Of course, we need to get data every time to improve and adjust the process. So a few words for each type of extraction. How do we preserve the terpenes? How do we preserve cannabinoids through each extraction? The solventless extraction is a method that extracts the cannabinoids and terpenes from cannabis without using salt. Usually, that's the method that we've been doing for hundreds and hundreds of years, either through sifting of the trichomes, either through rubbing the plant, either through using cold water to break down the trichomes and press them down through rosin press. So, rosin press is one of the latest extractions of solvent extraction where you need to press the key down to or the plant itself until you melt it down and get the desired extract. Although when you go through heat, some of the terpenes can oxidize, some of the cannabinoids will convert. But that's the trade-off of doing solvents. Keef and hash. So keef usually it's sifted down from the dry plant and put together as a keef to end products. Ice water hash. In compared to the keef, where some particles from the plant can be part of the keef and the color is a little greenish, ice water hash really is extracted when the plant is fresh, so there's no particle contamination in the ice water hash. And the consistency is much clearer than the keef hash. Although you have to go through a few steps, freezing down the plant, putting it into the like ice freeze water and shaking it down to collect the keef. And microwave is the latest one, which I really haven't seen it working, but there's been a lot of debates about it. What I know from my experience with microwaves, you can probably extract terpenes, but never going to extract cannabinoids because of the long molecule. Microwave breaks down the long molecules very easy, and the results are not very supportive. Solvent extraction. Well, solvent extraction is a popular method for extracting cannabinoids and terpenes, mostly deriving from the pharma industry. Most often used methods in the pharma industry are through alcohol and CO2. Alcohol is very universal method. It's been used since literally beginning of like 2,000 years ago, starting with Cannabis, a Roman scientist that first extracted herbs with alcohol. Since then, it's been perfected more and more into like cold alcohol extraction, pure 100% alcohol extraction for extracting resins. But what happens with alcohol? With these terpenes. So out of these terpenes that we talk about, the monoterps and sesquiterps, with alcohol we can extract probably half of the sesquiterps because of the very high boiling temperature of alcohol, 80 degrees C, and the lowest terpene starts evaporating around 100. So you have only 20 degrees of separation, and very often the alcohol gets contaminated from the terpenes. CO2. CO2 is a very universal method used in pharma because of agility to control pressure, temperature, and of course time. This is so-called triple point that really puts your extraction into the right mode to extract with CO2. And CO2 and CO2 extract very white compounds, really from oleoresins to water-soluble compounds. If you play with the temperature and pressure, it's a low-dense gas, that's why selectivity is least. And very often with CO2 we extract oil called crude that needs to be refined further with alcohol, which is more selective than the CO2. That's why we know the process of metallization that needs to happen with called alcohol, because when you chill the alcohol starts to extract less organic compounds and more oleoresins. When you extract with chemicals, usually it's important to know that similar extracts similar. And that similar extract by polarity of the molecule, or if we say the electric constant of the material. If you have the electric constant of the alcohol or the CO2 hydrocarbon, you see that alcohol and the CO2 has very high. Like alcohol is the highest electric constant. CO2 changes the electric constant, depends on the pressure. When it is in subcritical, it's higher than alcohol. If it's when it is in supercritical, it's higher than alcohol. When it's in subcritical, it's lower than alcohol. Hydrocarbon has the lower electric constant or has polarity compared to those. So non-polar and really extracts most of the terpenes and cannabinoids together. But again, a hydrocarbon, it's 5 carbon atoms, and it still misses, like, cannot deliver the finest 5 carbon atom terpenes, the isoterpenes. And aerosol extraction is the latest extraction developed like 20 years ago, and that extraction has the most non-polar structure and extracts the terpenes and cannabinoids all together. These are typical extracts that are achieved after the first pass, the rosin press, out of the paper that is pressed. This is the oil coming out. These bubbles are the terpenes, so it's richer terpenes. Ice water hash is literally like a brown sugar. Ethanol extraction crude. This is the crude after the extraction with ethanol before it goes to distillation. When it is distilled, then we see this clear, nice oil, but unfortunately that oil doesn't have terpenes anymore. CO2 extraction, you get an oil like this, and eventually needs to be winterized and distilled to get to this. Hydrocarbon extraction is also high terpene extraction. We see a lot of butane in there with the bubbles that needs to be purged after the extraction. And R134A or aerosol extraction gives you oil that is purely terps and cannabinoids. Okay, here is the chart that I was looking at a slide before. This chart shows you how each solvent behaves. Starting from steam, like these are all the components into the plant. From the more volatile terpenes over here, and over here the cannabinoids, acid and non-acid cannabinoids. Steam doesn't even extract the cannabinoids, which are here. Only the terpenes. That's why steam is used only for essential oil extraction, terpene extraction. Then we have the CO2 supercritical. As I mentioned, it's a very wide extraction. It pulls a lot of compounds from the plant, from water soluble to oils. That's why you need to narrow down by alcohol. That's why you have to go through a secondary process or co-solvent, either way, to achieve only cannabinoid extraction. And even with that, you still have some extras in there. Alcohol, this is pure 97% alcohol, which is used for extraction of resins. And with alcohol, you extract pretty much the acid compounds and non-acid compounds with some of the terps, not all of them. When you extract subcritical, you focus on the terps, but you don't extract the cannabinoids, which is something that we all want, unless you want to do two fractions, fraction for terps and fraction for cannabinoids. And we have hydrocarbons. Hydrocarbons are focused on terpenes and cannabinoids, pretty widely. And that's why so far, this is known as one of the best flavoring, terpene extraction for cannabinoids. There is a new type of extraction that we promote as a company, PURE5, and this is the aerosol extraction, which has less solubility, like more limited extraction capacity than hydrocarbon, and we don't really extract the fats and lipids and the greasy content that is in the hydrocarbon. So we extract really the terpenes and cannabinoids. The extracts are more liquid, much easier for vapes and other products, but you cannot really make a hash with that extraction because all these compounds are missing here. When we talk about terpenes, we've done a study how terpenes can be preserved through the plant, live resin, and the hash resin profile. Live resin the plant profile has, over here we have about 20 cannabinoids, 20 terpenes, starting from myrcene, caryophyllene, they're in the same order in each of these tables. These are the terpenes into the plants. These are the terpenes into the live resin, which repeats 20 times the value in the same order. And these are the terpenes into the hash resin that repeats into the same order 3 times more. Why in the live resin there are more? Of course, because the terpenes, the cannabinoids over here in the live resin are about 60%. And you have 30% terpenes. Over here, the cannabinoids are 80%, and you have about 5 to 10% terpenes. That's why they're 3 times. But what's most important is that there is no degradation of a single terpene. They repeat itself all over, from the plant to the final extract. And that's how we maintain the experience of the customer to really experience the strain. So, through solvent extraction, maintaining the terpene profile correctly, maintaining the cannabinoid profile correctly, you can really increase bioavailability by keeping the presence of the terpenes there. There is a study that if your terpenes are there, they get to the receptor first. They activate the CB1 and CB2 receptors before the cannabinoid to get there with at least 50%. So the presence of terpenes in your extract, it automatically increases the bioavailability of your products. You don't need to even nano-atomize it, and of course that will help further. But the terpenes are the ones that really get the cannabinoid and pull it to the cell walls very quickly. Preserve antioxidant activity. So, when you maintain a normal pH during extraction, when you use gentle and no heat extraction, it's very important. That's how you preserve the antioxidant activity, because really your extract needs to be bioavailable and active when its pH is normal, not acid. Usually when extract with CO2 and there is water content in the plant, that water content turns to an acid, carboxylic acid. And this is not very good for the medicinal values of these extracts. Through extraction you can mitigate mold and yeast. And how you do it? If your extraction doesn't extract water-soluble compounds, of course, mold and yeast is going to stay to the material. They're not going to be picked up, they're not going to be extracted. That's what we do with the aerosol extraction. We figured out that we can lower the mold and yeast 1,000 times. Preserving the color. There are very important parts into the color, besides the chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is good for the human body, but the taste is not pleasant. So it's not very desirable into the extracts. But there are other chemicals that are responsible for the colors, like carotenoids. And carotenoids, they usually help damages to the macula. This is a retina, like eye-related condition. Flavonoids, the anthocyanins, are protecting the heart and liver. So when we distill, we usually throw all this away. Don't need to do that. This is part of the natural color. So, astaxanthin improves the stem cell potency and increases the proliferation of the adult stem cell. This is also very important compound that brings the purple color. into the strains. So it's very important to think about what we throw away when we do post-processing. We have all these values into the plant. Let's preserve, let's keep them together. And yes, we as a equipment manufacturer, we have different machines that can make that happen. Low power, quick. I don't want to spend much time on it, so it's really something that we try to change this industry to a better way, promote most natural way to extract cannabis. Different extracts out of the machines that can make everything your process better. Yes, well, thank you for your time. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer. Sorry for the little glitch in the beginning that I have video for a few minutes. Yes.
Thank you, great speech, and your knowledge about those extracts is just amazing. And you know, in Germany, like we just started this, and they just allowed the clubs will be allowed, as maybe you know, just solventless extracts. Yeah. So we're beginning totally solventless here in Germany, and it's like the engineering should go kind of solventless, you know, and even the water hash for them is solvent. And this is kind of ridiculous, you know, we have water, we have fire, and the water hash is like solvent. Like, it's actually really strange that they do this. But what do you think about the situation where they get this idea to forbid this kind of thing, like water hash? Or what kind of, do we should stick with Moroccan way of hashish forever, like, or 10 months an hour, I don't know, like, you know?
I believe this is just the way of logic, because usually steam distillation is also water-based extraction, and there is a supercritical water extraction also, like a superheated water extraction, that you can put water to extract acethanol. And that's probably one of the reasons they decided, okay, if we say water, then there are going to be a lot of metals going in there. That's but probably the first thing that came to mind when they decided that is, well, let's figure out the rules first and let everybody doing their thing, like step by step. I bet this is going to be just for a little bit, and they're going to allow using water, because this is just going to be more description about extraction. But anyway, now it's going to be all Moroccan way, I guess. Until we hear here, and the next year hopefully we will have all these methods allowed, and then we're going to have all the varieties and enjoyment in the market. Thank you guys. Any other questions?
Well, thank you for the nice. I would be very interested in where can I get sources, books or something to learn more about it. Can you recommend anything to, like a course or books or something to read?
Well, when I do all these studies, I usually go to the NIH website, National Institute of Health. There are a lot of papers there, really a lot, and it's proven source. You can search, you can read, so that's my first source. Then I refer to some conferences, but in a lot of conferences there's a lot of marketing content. Really, you need to filter your sources, because a lot of things that are said all around the internet can lead you to wrong confusion. Usually NIH website is a lot of government studies, and that are really foundational for the cannabis industry, and they're getting more and more. They publish papers for, like, Israeli scientists and institutes ahead also, they publish in that site. Yeah, read sources that are proven and follow scientists that you trust. I also have on our website probably around 100 papers collected and put together based on these sources. That's also something to read. Yeah, the website is PURE5Extraction.com. Of course.
You were mentioning natural and synthetic cannabinoids, and there was the pharmacy somewhere near. Do you mean that pharmacy, like the pharma, is only using synthetic, and only we have to fight for the natural cannabis? Like it would never be another way when the pharma starts using natural ones?
That's a very good question. So, when we talk synthetic cannabinoids, there are a few branches into it. Now we have this HHC, HHCP, CBD8, CBD9, like all these things. They are naturally derived, but hydrogenized. That's pretty much when you see in your breads ingredients hydrogenized, flour and things. Well, we're getting there. It's like the food industry. We put all kind of modified food ingredients into modified cannabinoids. This is first level of synthetic that we hear about. The second level of synthetic is completely chemistry. And being out of Arizona, like 25 years in Arizona, our first vote didn't pass with 1%. Because we had one of these pharma companies in Arizona that put a lot of money into a campaign against the vote for cannabis, and those are produce pure synthetic cannabinoids. So synthetic cannabinoids, this is like it's nicotine vapes. There is no real nicotine in there. It's nicotine salt. It's synthetic, and that's what unfortunately we're going to see we see in cannabis as well. So I really want to raise the flag here and say watch your sources, and we're here to defend nature because nature is the best formulator. Nature is conscious, and that consciousness propagates through the plants. There's consciousness into the viruses, and there's a consciousness into plants, there's consciousness into animals, there's consciousness into humans, and this consciousness evolves, but it's there. Plants mimic the human being, and they really, in many cases, mirror us and help us to heal and improve. So yes, this is my big concern because I've seen it happening around. I've been to a few conferences that I heard people from pharma talking about this. Actually, what I was talking was exactly from a scientist from pharma that was explaining how they did synthetic cannabinoids. And they're more than this shape. There are many different shapes that they get, and they're not repeatable. They're not the same. They're different molecules, and this is something that we have to go through because it's going to be out there. Maybe they're going to cancel it after a while, but we're going to see two big things, especially in the US, because Europe is quite different. Pharma works with the tools that we work as well. They first got an access and they start working with it. But in the US, pharma is completely different. It's out of the main, like medicinal and recreational are two different paths, and pharma is the third one. So, remember the COVID, remember the connection to pharma. So, hopefully that doesn't happen here in the cannabis, that we got some ingredients with unknown origin into our drugs. Thank you. Any more questions? Thank you for being here. I guess I'm the last speaker for today. And I wish you have a great show. Tomorrow the last day. And good luck with getting this up to state in Germany and being fully legal on all levels. Grow, extraction, use, everything. It's the magic plant.